Hey there everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault video. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault, and we're back at thatparkplace.com. And we got a story today that we're going to talk about. Kotaku managing editor goes on deranged rant, accusing Mark Kern, that's Grumps on X, of maintaining and reinforcing the heteronormative, cis-normative, white supremacist, patriarchal status quo. Let's cue up the music and we'll get right to it. I got a little thunder rolling in the background. We got a storm coming in, so this ought to be fun. But this... I don't know what this thing is. Kotaku managing editor, a man who claims to be a woman and uses the name Carolyn Petite. Why? Went on an unhinged and deranged rant against Mark Kern, aka Grumps, accusing him of maintaining and yada yada yada. Petite's rant came in the wake of Grumps responding to an anonymous game developer admitting he hates gamers. The developer, who claims to work on a racing game, shared a post on the game dev subreddit titled, "Am I allowed to say this? I kinda hate gamers." We talked about this a week or so ago, maybe a little longer than that. And it's interesting because a lot of these people, I feel, are this way. You know, they hate the normal person. They hate the fact that we're normal and that we exist in the world and we don't have all these weird mental issues and all these things that these people suffer from. And they seriously suffer from mental issues, and I feel bad sometimes for them. I mean, I get mad, I'll get mad and I'll call them out and stuff like that, and I'll mock them a little bit. And, that is what it is. I really honestly don't care at this point. I've heard so much crap from such a small group of people that I'm completely sick of them. But then the human side of me comes up once in a while, and I'm like, they are people and they are suffering and all that. But then I have to look at it in such a way that they pretty much are making their own bed, and now they have to lay in it, right? They're creating their own suffering by going down these routes and just feeding themselves this garbage over and over again. But with a little bit of spine and a little bit of self-awareness, they could probably get themselves out of whatever weird hell they live in and maybe go get some help. Go get some real help to figure out what's wrong with you, as opposed to going on the internet and finding people that are going to elevate you and affirm your weird, your weirdness, the problems you have, your mental illnesses. And I've used this example before, and I'll use it again. We wouldn't, if this person wasn't a man that thought he was a woman, but this person was a man who thought he was fat, but he was only 110 pounds and he was anorexic, we would not be celebrating him, calling him brave and beautiful and "you look great, Steve," and all that other stuff. No, we'd be saying, "Yo, Steve, get a hamburger. You're sick. There's something wrong with you. Let's get you some help before you're dead." We don't do them any favors. But in the body of the post, he explained, "I'm a professional game developer, and I'm worried that I'm starting to hate gamers. Watching the gaming events on YouTube last month with the chat on was an extremely disheartening experience. Every time a character that wasn't a cishet white man appeared on screen, the chats would fill with messages calling the game woke or complaining about DEI. Every game that wasn't a shooter or a hyper-casual competitive online game garnered Z's and boring comments." And then I checked Twitter. It's just people complaining that the MGS3 remake is not yellow enough. People telling me that there are right ways and wrong ways to beat Elden Ring, I guess that is. And people hating on the new Dragon Age because the trailer doesn't match the tone they had imagined for it, he continued. And then he added, "I've seen people implying that the main character in Fable's trailers is ugly because it's a self-insert of some random level designer working at Playground whom they have deemed not effable enough. I know it's just the internet magnifying negative voices, I guess, doing what it does best, but it's making me real tired of gamers," Likely Sprite concluded. And I said this before when we talked about this, leave the industry if that's how you feel. If the industry in which you work makes you that miserable, get out. Get out, go, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out, and go find something that your delicate little self can handle. Because if you can't handle criticism and you can't handle pushback and you can't handle any of that, then you don't belong in any industry that involves dealing with the public. I don't know what, man, go weave baskets in your mom's cellar and sell them online to make a living or something like that. I don't know, but it's absolutely insane. Grumps reacted to the post, writing on X, "Oh boy, you hate gamers because you're obviously political and insist that everyone accept and love your overt political messaging in games. You want compliance and gamers aren't giving it to you." Now, let me tell you something. Do not comply. Never comply. Never bend the knee. Never sell yourself out, because you do it once, you're going to end up doing it 100 times, and you're going to end up just becoming a sellout. It's going to become your second nature in life, and that's not, it's not what you want. Petite responded to Grumps, writing on X, "I said this many times before, there's no way, shape, or form in which what people like Grummy here are doing is not itself deeply, deeply political. It's all about maintaining and reinforcing the heteronormative, cis-normative, white supremacist, patriarchal status quo." God. I don't understand if these people realize how stupid they sound. When somebody talks like this, if this sentence pours out of your mouth, you're a freaking idiot. You really are. If that's the lens in which you view the world, you're an idiot. You're a victim by choice, and you're always going to be a victim, and you're never going to succeed in life. You may get a good job somewhere, you may do something special, whatever, but you're always going to be a victim. You're always going to be a loser. You're always going to be a bottom feeder if that is the type of person you are. And I'm sick of it. I really am sick of these people. We're not going to go down there. Anyway, ex-user Grumps responded to Petite, writing, "The issue is those political ideas are not presented as an alternative, but rather as a hostile takeover." Yeah. Petite addressed this in writing, "Laugh my ass off, right? We're the hostile ones." Oh, you are the hostile ones, you. "Asking to exist freely and safely as equals in society and sometimes see ourselves represented and reflected in the mediums we love, patriarchy and white supremacy are themselves hostile and maintained through violence or threat of violence." No, you're the hostile ones. You are the ones that if something isn't represented correctly in your eyes, you'll go out there and try to burn everything to the ground. You'll mass report somebody who talks about it. You'll hammer the developers of the game and complain that there's no tranny flags, or there's no rainbow flags, or there's no this, or there's no that, and you want it all, and you don't want it represented and reflected in the mediums we love. Sometimes you want it every time. You want it in every game. You want every love interest to be pansexual or whatever you guys want to call it this week. This is what you guys want, and you push it on the rest of us, and that's why you get the pushback, and that's why people don't like you. All right, now I'm going to call it straight out. People don't like you. I used to not care. I was never an ally. I was never like, "Oh yeah, I'm an ally." No, I didn't give a shit. I was like, all right, they want to do something, let them do it. Let them, they can, it's a free country. As long as they're not hurting anyone, as long as they're not, causing harm, and that's what they want to do in the bedroom, let them do it. Now I'm like, fuck you. I don't like you. I don't want to see it at all. I want to push you back in the closet at this point. That's because of people like this that come out there, these professional victims, and they do it every single time. And that's despicable. It's disgusting. It shows such weakness that it's unbelievable. I'm a protector of people. I protect children. I protect women. I protect those that are weaker than I. But I will not protect a professional victim, because there's no protecting someone like that. You can't protect someone from themselves. Now, Petite's claim is clearly false. Sweet Baby Inc. CEO Kim Belair made it abundantly clear that followers of woke ideology like her and Petite are indeed attempting to take over the video game industry. And it's funny, I had somebody send me a comment on X before they blocked me about, they sent me a comment on one of my videos here about this when I talked about Sweet Baby Inc. and putting the gay in gaming and something like that. And they're like, "Don't compare us to that company," or whatever. And I'm like, this is exactly what they do. They admitted it, In an interview with In Conclusion FX in 2021, Belair said, "Today, what we do is writing, narrative design, story building, yada yada. They want to represent people in an industry that they're often shut out, and basically I think to take over in hopes that some really dope people will be able to lead into a kind of a new era for an industry that's been kind of, the same way too long." She talks like a freaking moron. Bishop Barron also made it clear to individuals who followed woke ideology are hostile. He shared with Angelus News, first, they advocate a deeply antagonistic social theory, whereby the world is divided sharply into two classes of oppressors and oppressed. Second, they relativize moral value and see classical morality as an attempt by the ruling class to maintain itself in power. Third, they focus not so much on the individual as on racial and ethnic categories, and hence they endorse the idea of collective guilt and recommend a sort of reverse discrimination to address the injustices of the past. Fourth, they tend to demonize the market economy and the institutions of democracy as part of the superstructure defending the privileged. And fifth, they push towards equity of outcome throughout the society rather than equality of opportunity. He added, and frankly, wokeism employs divisive and aggressive strategies of accusation that are contrary to the gospel demand to love our enemies. Suffice it to say that Catholic social teaching stands athwart all of this. It wants social justice, of course, but not on woke terms. Its heroes are not Marx and Nietzsche and Foucault, but rather Isaiah, Amos, Jeremiah, Jesus the Lord, Ambrose, Aquinas, and Teresa of Calcutta. It just gets worse and worse. This behavior and hostility is clearly seen in Petite's initial response to Grumps. Petite doubled down by claiming this about the United States. When were we asked if we wanted to live in a racist, misogynistic, transphobic society that treats straight white males as the default setting on humanity? Move out. If the U.S. is that terrible, move out. I have some recommendations for you. Go to Qatar, go somewhere to the Middle East and try that out at first, and go live your life there. And 6 months down the road, if you're still around, talk to us about how bad it is, or how good it is there compared to how bad and oppressive it was here in the United States. You fucking scumbags. In the moment of sheer irony, Petite concluded her thread writing, another tactic for maintaining the dominance of the systems we live in is trying to render those systems invisible. And one way they do this is acting like you're some kind of loon when you point out that those systems exist. They don't make sense, right? They don't make sense. It's all about professional victimhood, and it's all about me, narcissism, right? You are an individual. You are a single person. You are a small percentage of society. That's what you represent. A tiny fraction of a fraction. And you want equal representation in everything. And don't tell me you don't want equal. Don't tell me, oh, we just want to occasionally see ourselves and all that. Because every single game that comes out has been tainted by DEI. Every single game, it seems, lately. And it's disgusting. I'm about ready to stop buying games. I'm about ready to turn my back on this industry altogether and go play my backlog for the next 2 years until everything crashes to the ground and burns, because that's what's going to happen. And you're going to be out of a job. And I'm going to laugh because Kotaku already shit-canned all of Australia. Next is going to be the US. They're going to shut it down completely because you guys are garbage. You and everyone that works for you, that Arlissa Mercante, all of you, can all go to hell. I'm tired of it all. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up. Sorry about the rant, guys, but if you enjoyed the video at all, please leave a like on it down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell for notifications. I'll see you next time. Until then, peace.